Okay. Second. Uh, Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and my name is Tuba Sanover and I am a lawyer by profession और मैं LLM की एक स्टूडेंट हूँ। तो और ये मेरा चैनल है ऑब्वियसली। हम यहाँ पर लाइफ से रिलेटेड बातें करेंगे और ये व्लॉग मैं बनाना शुरू करूँगी इंशाल्लाह। मैंने अपलोड नहीं की है अभी, बट मैं इंशाल्लाह उसको अपलोड करूँगी। तो व्लॉग शुरू करने के पीछे मेरा रीज़न ये है कि मैं चाहती हूँ कि हम कनेक्ट हो पाएँ एक दूसरे से, लोगों को पता चले कि दुनिया में इस तरह के लोग हैं, और अगर पता ना भी चले तो किन्हीं लोगों से तो हम जुड़ पाएंगे। और हाय राज, हेलो। सो आज हम ये बुक पढ़ने वाले हैं, द आर्ट ऑफ डीलिंग विद पीपल बाय लिज गिबलिन। आई हैव नॉट रेड दिस बुक येट। मैं आप लोगों के साथ ये बुक पढ़ूंगी। तो बहुत छोटी सी बुक है, 56 पेजेस की है आई थिंक, और बहुत छोटी भी है साइज़ में। तो आई थिंक ये आधे एक पौन घंटे में ख़त्म हो जानी चाहिए। 11 चैप्टर्स हैं, कंटेंट्स हैं। ओके, बिस्मिल्लाह। चैप्टर 1, thinking creatively about human relations. All of us want two things out of life: success and happiness. All of us are different. Your idea of success may be different from mine, but there is one big factor which all of us must learn to deal with if we are to be successful and happy. The one common denominator to all success and happiness is other people. Various scientific studies have proven that if you learn how to deal with other people, you will have gone 85% of the way down the road to success in any business, occupation, or profession, and about 99% of the way to personal happiness. Merely getting out isn't the answer. What counts is a way to deal with people that will bring us personal satisfaction and at the same time not trample on others' egos. Human relations is the science of dealing with people in such a way that our egos and their egos remain intact. And that is the only method of getting along with people that ever results in any real success or satisfaction. The reason 90% of people fail in life is a failure to deal successfully with people. Look around you. Are the most successful people those with the most brains, the most skill? Are the people who are the happiest and get the most fun out of their life so much smarter than the other people you know? If you will stop and think a moment, the chances are that you will say that the people you know who are the most successful and enjoy life the most are those who have a way with people. Your personality problems are your problems with other people. There are millions of people today who are self conscious, shy, and ill at ease in social situations. They feel inferior and never realize that their real problem is a human relations problem. It never seems to get across to them that their failure as a personality is a failure in learning to deal successfully with people. There are almost as many who, at least on the surface, seem to be the very opposite of the shy, retiring type. They appear to be self assured. They are bossy and dominate any social situation they are in, whether it is home, the office, or the club. Yet they too realize that something is missing. They wonder why their employees or their family do not appreciate them. They wonder why people do not cooperate more willingly, why it is necessary to continually force people into line. And most of all, they realize in their more candid moments that the people they are most anxious to impress never really give them the approval and acceptance they crave. They attempt to force cooperation, loyalty, and friendship to push people to produce for them. But the one thing they cannot force is the thing they want the most. They cannot force people to like them. They never really get what they want because they have never mastered the art of dealing with people. They never really get what they want because they have never mastered the art of dealing with people. Whether we like it or not, people are here to stay. In our modern world, we simply cannot achieve any success or happiness without taking other people into account. The doctor, the lawyer, the salesperson who enjoys the most successful is not necessarily the one who is the most intelligent or the most skillful in the mechanics of his or her job. The husband and wife who are the happiest are not the ones who are the most attractive. Look for a success in any endeavor, and you will find someone who has mastered the knack of dealing with people, a person who has a way with others. Very true. Skill in human relations is similar to skill in any other field, in that success depends on understanding and mastering certain basic general principles. You must not only know what to do, but why you're doing it. As far as basic principles are concerned, people are all the same. Yet each individual person you will meet is different. If you attempted to learn some gimmick to deal successfully with each separate individual you met, you would be faced with a hopeless task. Influencing people is an art, not a gimmick. When you apply gimmicks in a superficial mechanic manner, you go through the same motions as the person who has a way, but it doesn't work for you. The purpose of this book is to give you knowledge based upon an understanding of human nature, why people act the way they do. The methods presented in this book have been tested on thousands of people who have attended my human relations seminars. They are not just my pet ideas of how you should deal with people, but ideas that have stood the test of how you must deal with people. That is, if you want to get along with them and get what you want at the same time. Yes, we all want success and happiness, and the day is long past, if it ever existed, when you could achieve these goals by forcing people to give you what you want. And begging is no better, for no one has respect for or any desire to help. The person who constantly notos and literally goes around with his hand out begging other people to like him. The one successful way to get the thing you want from life is to acquire skill in dealing with people. Read on and you will learn how. Interesting. Chapter 2. Understanding the human ego. Because the human ego is such a precious thing to its possessor, and because a person will go to such extremes to defend against what he perceives as threats to his ego, the word egotism has a negative connotation. Let's look at the other side of egotism. If it can cause people to do silly, irrational, and destructive things, it can also cause them to act nobly and heroically. What is egotism, anyway? Edward Book, an editor and humanitarian, said that what the world calls ego and conceit is really a divine spark planted in man, and that only those who had lighted the divine spark within them ever accomplished great things. Whatever name you want to give it, human dignity, personality, or uniqueness, deep within the heart of everyone, there is something that is important and that demands respect. Every human being is a special individual personality, and the most powerful drive in any person is to defend this important something against all enemies. This is why you cannot treat people as machines, as numbers, or as masses and get away with it. Every effort, every effort that has been made to deprive humans of this individual worth has failed. It is more powerful than enemies in prison camps. It proved more powerful than feudal lords who tried to turn people into serfs. It proved more powerful than Hitler's armies. And it set the stage for our own land of the free. Our Declaration of Independence is really a declaration of independence for the individual. It is also important to note that our Declaration of Independence places the real worth of an individual as a gift of God. We hold these truths to be self evident that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Not a book on religion, but in the final analysis, you cannot separate religion and human relations. True. Unless you believe that there is a creator who has endowed us with unalienable rights, with an innate worth, you cannot very well believe in people. Henry Kaiser said that you would automatically practice good human relations if you would remember that every individual is important, because every individual is a child of God. This is also the only true basis for self esteem. The person who realizes that there are something not because of what they have done or how good they have been, but by the grace of God endowing them with an innate worth, develops a healthy self esteem. The person who doesn't realize this tries to gain significance by making money, gaining power or celebrity, or in other obvious ways. Not only are they what we call egotists when we use that word in its negative sense, but their continual hunger for self esteem is what causes most of the trouble in the world. Four facts of life to print indelibly on your mind. We are all egotists. We are most interested in ourselves than in anything else. Every person you meet wants to feel important and to amount to something. There is a craving in everyone for the approval of others so that he can approve of himself. We all are ego hungry, and it is only when this ego is at least partially satisfied that we can forget ourselves, take our attention off ourselves, and give it to something else. Only those who have learned to like themselves can be generous and friendly with others. What makes people self centered and conceited? We used to think that the trouble with the egotists was that they thought too highly of themselves. We thought that if that person would give up their high self regard, that they would be cured. The old method society used to knock some of the self importance out of these contrary, hard to get along with individuals never worked. All they ever did was make the other person even more hostile and his ego even more sensitive. The reason these methods never worked is simple. We now know without a doubt that the self centered, egotistical person is not suffering from too much self esteem but too little. If you are on good terms with yourself, you are on good terms with others. Once a person begins to like themselves better, then they are able to like others better. Once they get over their painful dissatisfaction with themselves, they are less critical and more tolerant of others. Ego hunger is as universal and natural as the hunger for food, and the food for the ego serves the same purpose as food for the body: self preservation. The body needs food to survive, and the ego or unique individuality of each person needs respect, approval, and a sense of accomplishment. A starved ego is a mean ego. Comparing the ego to the stomach goes a long way towards explaining why people act as they do. A man who eats 3 good meals a day gives little thought to his stomach. But let a man go without food for a day or two, become really hungry, and his whole personality changes. He becomes more critical, nothing pleases him, and he snaps at people. It will do good it will do no good to tell him that his problem is that he is stomach conscious and that he must get his mind off his stomach. There is only one way to cure him, and that is to accede to nature's demands for survival. Nature has placed an instinct in each creature that says you and your basic needs come first. You must eat before he is capable of giving his attention to anything else. It's very much the same for the self centered person. For a healthy, wholesome personality, nature demands a certain amount of self acceptance and self approval. It does no good to scold a self centered person and tell them to take their minds off themselves. They cannot get their mind off themselves until their ego hunger has been satisfied. Only then will they take their attention off themselves and give it to work, to other people, or whatever is necessary. What self esteem, something's cooking in my house. Sorry. When self esteem is at high level, people are easy to get along with. They are cheerful, generous, tolerant, and willing to listen to others' ideas. They have taken care of their own primary needs and are able to think about the needs of others. They have their own personalities are so strong and secure that they are willing to take risks. They can afford to be occasionally wrong and can admit it when they make a mistake. They can be criticized and slighted and take it in stride, for these things only make a small dent in their self esteem, and they have plenty more left. It is a well known fact that the man at the top is usually easier to deal with than his underlings. The story is told of a private in World War One who shouted, "Put out that damn match," only to find to his chagrin that the offender was General Blackjack Pershing. When he tried to stammer out an apology, General Pershing patted him on the back and said, "Just be glad that I am not second lieutenant. You have to lower yourself to be petty." When self esteem is at low, troubles come easily, and when self esteem gets low enough, almost anything can come a threat. To that person, a critical look or a harsh word can seem like a calamity. The sensitive souls who see a dig or double meaning in every, even the most innocent remark, are suffering from low esteem. And the braggart, the show off, and the bully have the same problem. To deal with the trouble caused by low self esteem in others, help them like themselves better. When an arrogant person attempts to you in your place, put you in your place. You can understand this behavior by remembering two things. First, he needs desperately to increase his own self importance and is attempting to do so by beating you down. Second, he is afraid. His self esteem is at such a low ebb that one good put down by you would shatter it altogether. And although he is not certain that you would take a shot at his self importance, he cannot afford to take that chance. The only safe strategy he can use is to put you down before you see him for what he really is. Do not add to the trouble by trying to beat him down. Avoid sarcastic, cutting remarks and arguing. If you win, you will win. You will only further decrease his ebbing supply of self esteem and make him harder to deal with than before. Instead, feed his hungry ego, turn a lion into a lamb, and he will stop growling and snapping at you. And this tactic works on everyone, not just difficult personalities. Anyone is more agreeable, more understanding, and more cooperative if you feed the ego. Not with insincere flattery, but with genuine compliments and real praise. Look for those good points in those you deal with, things about which you can praise them. Form the habit of paying at least 5 sincere compliments each day and watch how much smoother your relationship with others become. Help others like themselves better and do not attempt to apply this in a superior patronizing manner. If you do, your assumptions of superiority will only antagonize. The first law of human relations is people act or fail to act, largely to enhance their own egos. When you are trying to persuade somebody to act a certain way and logic and reasoning fail, try a reason that will enhance his ego. Give others a personal reason to help you. At while back, I was in a city. A while back, I was in a city that was hosting a national convention. Unexpected business developments required me to spend the night. Having no reservation, I went to a hotel where I had frequently stayed. Working my way through the crowd at the front desk trying to get rooms, I got the attention of a familiar clerk. "Well, Les," he apologized. "You should have let us know you were coming. I can't do anything for you under the circumstances." It looks like we have a problem," I replied. "But I know that if there's anyone in town who can find a solution, it's you. If you can't find me a room, I might as well give up and sleep in the park." "I don't know," he said, "but stick around for 30 minutes and I'll see if I can come up with something." The upshot was that he remembered a small living room used for informal conferences that could easily be turned into a bedroom by moving in a spare bed. I got the room and he got a sense of accomplishment and enhanced his ego by proving to both of us that if anyone can do it, I can. help others to like themselves better, satisfy their hunger for self esteem. Chapter 3. The importance of making others feel important. Everyone is a millionaire in human relations. The great tragedy is that too many of us hoard our wealth, dole it out stingly, or don't even realize we possess it. It is within your power to add to the feelings of personal worth of others. It is within your powers to make them like themselves better. It is within your power to make them feel appreciated and accepted. The quickest way to improve your dealings with people is to begin giving away the wealth you possess. It doesn't cost you anything and you need not fear you'll ever run out of it. Don't try to barter or bargain with it. Don't try to use it to bribe people into giving you what you want. Give it away indiscriminately. In doing so, you need not worry about getting what you want from others. When you cast this bread upon the waters, so to speak, it always comes back to you multiplied many folds. Don't make the mistake of supposing that just because someone is successful or famous, they have no need for a feeling of importance. Courtesy, politeness, and manners are all based on this universal hunger of people to feel that they have some personal worth. Courtesy and politeness are merely ways in which we acknowledge the importance of the other people. All of us need to feel that we are important. Very true. We need to feel that other people recognize and acknowledge our importance. Actually, what we need is for other people to help us feel important, to help us confirm our sense of personal worth. Our feelings about ourselves are to a large extent reflections of the feelings others people seem to have about us. No one can maintain their dignity and worth if everyone he meets treats him as if he were worthless. This explains why little things that are apparently unimportant actions can have such tremendous consequences in the field of human relations. Have you ever heard the reasons people give for asking for a divorce? He got a big kick out of telling everyone how stupid I was about money, or she would make an issue out of feeding the cat before she fed me when she was cooking. They seem like small things, but when repeated, they tell the other person, this proves I don't think that you are very important. Remember, it takes only one small spark to set off an explosion, and the little things you do and say can set off a chain reaction. You must recognize the other person. In their diplomatic dealings with other countries, governments speak of recognizing another country or trying or according them recognition. We might take a lesson from this in our diplomatic relations with others. The principal causes of dissatisfaction among employees are failure to give credit for suggestions, failure to correct grievances, failure to encourage criticizing employees in front of others, failure to ask employees their opinions, failure to inform employees of their progress, and favoritism. Note that every item has to do with failure to recognize the importance of the employee. Four reasons to make others feel important are: think other people are important. The first rule, and the easiest to apply, is simply to convince yourself once and for all that other people are important. Do this, and your attitude comes across to others. Even when you are not trying, moreover, it takes away the need for gimmicks and puts your human relations on a sincere basic basis. You can't make others feel important in your presence if you secretly feel they are nobodies. After all, what else on earth is as important or as interesting as people? Notice people, notice people. Have you ever thought about the fact that you notice only those things that are important to you? Actually, you only see a fraction of what is around you. You select for attention only those things that are important. Five people walking down the same street will probably note five different things simply because they are interested in different things. Excuse me. 24 minutes हो चुके हैं. आई थिंक दिस बुक विल नीड टाइम. ये जस्ट हमने सिर्फ अभी 18 पन्ने पढ़े हैं. इसको टाइम लगेगा। आई थिंक ये एक बार में खत्म नहीं होगी, 2-3 पार्ट्स में लेने पड़ेंगे। ओके, notice people. Have you ever thought about the fact that you notice only those things that are important to you? Actually, you only see a fraction of what is around you. You select for attention only those things that are important. Five people walking in the same street will probably note five different things simply because they are interested in different things. Therefore, when someone notices us, they pay us a big compliment. They are saying that they recognize our importance and give us a big boost to our morale. We become more friendly, more cooperative, and actually work harder. And don't forget that when you're dealing with a group, try to acknowledge everyone in the group. Don't compete with people. Billy Rory. This requires some discipline as you are human and you have the same need to feel important that everyone else does. You must watch yourself that this does not backfire on you. The basic fact is everyone needs to feel important and to feel that others recognize his importance. This trait of human nature is in itself neutral. You can use it in your you can use it to your own advantage or disadvantage. Just as you can use a knife to butter your bread or cut your throat. The temptation is always present when we are dealing with others to impress upon them our own importance. Consciously or unconsciously, we want to make a good impression. If someone tells us of some great feat he performed, we at once think of something that was even greater. If someone tells us a good story, right away we think of one that could top it. Often we are so anxious to impress others with our own importance that we can make them feel small so that we will appear larger. There is one simple rule that will help you get over this handicap. If you want to make a good impression on others, the most effective way is to let them know that you are impressed by them. Let them know that they impress you, and they will judge you one of the smartest, most personable individuals they have met. Compete with them, and they will be firmly convinced that you are a fool who doesn't know his way around. Know when to correct others. Usually, when we correct or contradict others, it is not for the purpose of settling any real problems. It is usually to increase our feeling of importance at the expense of others. Ask yourself, does it make any real difference whether they are right or wrong? Don't try to win all the little battles. If nothing is involved except the other person's ego, why bother? The negative impact you create far outweighs the small victory for your own ego. We've completed 3 chapters here. I don't think कि हम पूरी book एक बार में पढ़ पाएंगे क्योंकि yeah, I think we'll do it in 3 parts. This being past part 1, obviously, and I'll put this video on my channel. Um, and yeah, do follow me on my other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and let me know um, what all we can do and what all we can discuss about. और ज़रूर इंशाल्लाह हम कुछ ना कुछ नया डिस्कस करेंगे रिलेटेड टू लाइफ, रिलेटेड टू प्रोफेशन, रिलेटेड टू जस्ट स्टफ या। तो आप लोग लाइक, शेयर, सब्सक्राइब करें एंड वील मीट इन अनदर वीडियो, अनदर लाइव इंशाल्लाह। अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।